For the machine hip thrust, just like the barbell hip thrust, our feet position, our knee angle, and our hip position are all important. As you can see here, my feet position is about shoulder width apart. My knee angle is about 90 degrees. I tuck my chin in and I posteriorly pelvic tilt, or I bring my tailbone under to keep my lumbar spine neutral. As you can see here, I am keeping my chin tucked in to further accentuate that neutral lumbar spine. Basically, when you're at the bottom of the hip thrust, it is common for your spine to extend or for that anterior pelvic tilt to happen, where you allow that lumbar spine to extend and sag down. We do not want that to happen because we want movement about the hips and not movement about the lumbar spine. A good cue that I like to give is as if you're opening and closing a book. When you're opening and closing a book, there are two sides of the book. One side would be your torso, the upper body, and the other side of the book is your legs. You can see here I am keeping my spine neutral by tucking my pelvis under ever so slightly. So just think of opposite of a Kim Kardashian. A Kim Kardashian is called an anterior pelvic tilt, where you can really see that butt trying to push up, whereas we want to bring that butt downwards. We want to tuck the tailbone down. When we tuck the tailbone down, we prevent lumbar extension and we keep the lumbar spine in relative neutral or slight flexion. Tucking my chin in helps to reinforce to my brain that I do not want my spine to go into extension, but I want to keep my spine or lumbar spine neutral. So, as I mentioned previously, like opening and closing a book, the only two movements should be as if I am opening and closing a book, where one side of the book is my upper body or my torso, and the other side of the book is my lower body, which is my hips to my leg or thigh region. So basically, when I'm coming down on the hip thrust, I am closing the book, and then when I'm coming up, I'm opening the book. But movement is about my hip and not at my spine. My spine remains rigid by having a brace, keeping my pelvic tucked under to ensure that my lumbar spine is not going into extension during the movement. As you can see here, I'm also keeping my knee at a 90-degree angle. There is not much movement at my knee. Most movement is occurring at my hip. I'm also tucking my chin in to ensure that I reinforce to my brain I do not want lumbar extension, but I want lumbar neutral or spine neutral or slight flexion. In fact, the only contact point I have with the seat padding at the top is my upper back. My lower back or my mid back is not in contact. Only my shoulder blade region is in contact with the seat padding. So this really only focuses on me moving about my hips at all times. So just a recap. First thing, feet position, I place it about shoulder width apart. I ensure my knee is at about a 90-degree angle. I want to be working on my hips and not my knees or quads. I want to ensure that my spine is in neutral, and therefore over here you can see I'm tucking my pelvis under, as well as I'm keeping my chin tucked in. I brace so that I keep my spine or torso rigid, as I'm wanting to move about only my hips. I'm having only my shoulder blade or upper back region in contact with the padding, and I'm controlling the movement by lowering the weight down slowly and pausing at the top. At all points in time, I'm also ensuring that I push my knees out to further engage the glute muscle, which is what we are working here through hip extension. At no point in time should I want lumbar spine extension, or to put it simply, when you can see that the lower back lumbar spine curvature is further increasing into that curve. We want to keep that curve fairly straight or neutral. We do not want to see movement at the lumbar spine. As you can see here, all movements at my hip, I'm keeping my spine rigid and there is no movement there, which is further reinforced by my chin tuck.